US envoy to the United Nations has made a direct plea to Russian foreign minister to release the detained US journalist. Speaking before the UNSC session, Washington's envoy Linda Thomas-Greenfield called on Sergey Lavrov to release Paul Whelan and Evan Gershkovich immediately.
Right now, Paul Whelan is in a Russian penal colony simply because he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And right now, Evan Gershkovich is being wrongfully detained by the Russian government simply for doing his job as a respected journalist, as you are doing here today. Of course, Paul and Evan are also beloved friends. They're sons. They are brothers. There's a human cost to Russia's violation of international norms, to its barbaric practice of using people as political pawns. That cost is borne by those detained, but also by their family and friends.
Paul Whelan's sister was also present at the headquarters, where she urged Russia to free her brother.
Russia's less than sophisticated take on diplomacy is to arbitrarily detain American citizens in order to extract concessions from the United States. This is not the work of a mature and responsible nation. It is the action of a terrorist state.
In 2020, Paul Whelan was convicted of espionage in Russia. Washington has designated him as wrongfully detained. Last month, Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich was arrested by Russia on charges of espionage. He is the first foreign journalist arrested on spying allegations since the collapse of the Soviet Union. Our correspondent Susan Tehrani is joining us live on the broadcast with the latest. Susan, big words being thrown at each other. Of course, Russia was calling Kiev's Nazi practices. They've called them out on that. And they've also called out the West for double standards. On the other hand, US, of course, has left no stone unturned in making sure that Evan Gershkovich and Paul Whelan's message is sent out to Russia. What's the latest? Are they arriving at any conclusion, or was this just an exchange of words here?
You know, I wish I could tell you that there'd be a conclusion at today's Security Council meeting, but as we have seen time and again here at the United Nations, notably the Security Council chamber, you see harsh words being thrown back to one another, but really no concrete action taking place. I think it was very interesting and very powerful that the U.S. ambassador to the UN asked Foreign Minister Lavrov to pick his head up and look into the eyes of Paul Whelan's sister, Elizabeth, that you mentioned was already there. Of course, Paul is in Russian custody. He's a former Marine, along with the Wall Street Journal journalist Evan Gershkovich as well. And Lavrov sort of picked his head up and waved and then put his head back into his papers. Really, if you wanted a snapshot of what takes place at the Security Council, more often than not, it was really that gesture of Lavrov. But it is, it's interesting that we see the position of different countries. You know, last year, it was very rare for a lot of countries to want a ceasefire or a peaceful settlement to this conflict between Russia and Ukraine. But this year, you see more and more countries, notably from the global south, that there are murmurs of it. They're hoping that some kind of settlement could be reached and this ongoing war could stop because it's affecting everyone. So that's what we're hearing.
Thank you for all those updates, Susan. That was Susan Tehrani, our correspondent, joining us live from New York.